Most people don't even realize they have fatty liver because it doesn't announce itself with pain, it doesn't scream for attention, it doesn't give you those obvious red flags you would expect when something's wrong inside your body. Instead, it's a silent process. You could be going through your day, eating what you think is healthy. Maybe a piece of bread here, some fruit juice there, and all the while fat is quietly building up inside your liver. You might just feel a little more tired than usual. Maybe you notice your waistline growing. Maybe your digestion feels sluggish, but you don't connect it to your liver. That's why this condition is so dangerous. It sneaks up on you. By the time most people get diagnosed, the liver is already overloaded, packed with fat cells, struggling to do the hundreds of jobs it's responsible for. And here's the truth, your liver is working for you every single second, processing toxins, balancing hormones, storing vitamins, breaking down nutrients, and it's doing all this silently without complaint. But when you push it too far, when you keep feeding it sugar and refined carbs, it starts to fail quietly in the background until one day the damage is so advanced, you can't ignore it anymore. That's why understanding this hidden, silent process is the first step toward reversing it, because once you see the problem clearly, you can finally take the right action to fix it. And here's where the confusion begins for most people. They're told fatty liver is because they're eating too much fat. So, what do? They cut back on oils, they avoid eggs, they switch to low-fat foods thinking they're protecting their liver. But the reality is the opposite. The fat that's accumulating inside your liver is not coming directly from the fat you eat. It's coming from sugar and refined carbs. Every time you drink that soda, eat that piece of white bread, snack on crackers, or even sip so-called healthy fruit juice, your blood sugar spikes. And what does your body do with all that excess sugar? It can't leave it floating in the blood because that's toxic. So your liver steps in and starts converting that sugar into fat. That fat then gets stored right inside the liver cells themselves, creating that silent buildup we just talked about. That's why you'll see someone who avoids fried food, who doesn't eat much meat, still end up with fatty liver, because it's not about fat in the diet, it's about the hidden sugars and carbs that are sneaking into every meal. It's pasta, rice, cereal, energy bars, all those healthy whole grains that keep insulin spiking and force your liver to do the dirty work of storing it as fat. This is the real cause of fatty liver, and unless you address the sugar and carb problem, no amount of avoiding fat will ever heal it. Now, here's the part that very few people actually understand. It's not just the sugar itself that's the problem. It's the hormone that sugar constantly triggers, and that hormone is insulin. Every time you eat carbs, your insulin spikes, and when insulin is high, fat gets locked away and trapped. Think of insulin like a jailer. It doesn't just store fat, it makes sure that fat can't escape. So when your insulin stays chronically elevated because of snacks, because of hidden sugars, because of eating too often, your liver fat has no way out. It just sits there, accumulating, pressing on the cells, creating more stress inside the liver. You could go to the gym, you could run miles, you could try starving yourself, but as long as insulin is up, your body won't let go of that liver fat. This is why so many people get frustrated. They try diets, they try exercise, and yet nothing changes in their blood work. It's not because they're not working hard, it's because they don't understand insulin's role. Until insulin comes down, the fat in your liver is locked in place, and that's why the key to reversing fatty liver is not just cutting calories. It's lowering insulin through the right diet strategy. And this is exactly where keto changes everything. When you finally cut down those carbs and bring insulin down, your body is forced to shift gears. Instead of running on sugar all day long, it begins tapping into fat as its primary fuel. And where does it start? It doesn't go searching for fat somewhere far away. It goes right to the most accessible fat, the fat stored in your liver. That's the first reserve your body taps into when sugar is no longer available. So the very organ that's been weighed down with excess fat suddenly becomes the source of fuel. You can almost think of it as your body cleaning house, pulling fat out of the liver cell by cell and burning it for energy. This is why people on keto start noticing changes not just in weight, but in their blood work. Liver enzymes start normalizing, belly fat starts melting, and energy starts stabilizing because the body is no longer drowning in sugar. It's thriving on fat. And this process is not slow or theoretical. When you drop insulin, your body starts making that switch within days. That's why keto isn't just a diet trend, it's a complete metabolic reset that finally allows the liver to unload the very fat that was suffocating it. What makes this even more incredible is the fact that your liver isn't just any ordinary organ. It has a built-in superpower that very few parts of your body have. It can regenerate. That means even if your liver has been damaged, even if it's been storing fat for years, once you create the right conditions, it has the ability to rebuild itself cell by cell. Imagine that your body is literally designed to heal, but it's waiting for you to stop bombarding it with sugar and insulin. The moment you lower carbs and allow the liver to release fat, you're not just stopping more damage, you're giving the liver the environment it needs to repair. New healthy cells begin to replace the damaged ones, liver function improves, detoxification becomes more efficient, and suddenly the organ that was slowing down begins to work like it was meant to. From the very beginning, most people don't realize they're carrying around this built-in power to regenerate, and yet it's right there, ready to activate the moment you make the right dietary shift. This is why people who stay consistent with keto often feel like they've been given a second chance because in many ways they have. Their liver is literally rebuilding itself, and when that regeneration process begins, something else happens that's just as powerful. The inflammation inside the liver starts to calm down. You see, when fat builds up in the liver, it's not just sitting there quietly, it's creating stress. That fat generates oxidative damage, it irritates the liver cells, and over time it sparks inflammation. And inflammation is what leads to scarring, what doctors call fibrosis, and eventually, if ignored, cirrhosis. But here's the good news. When you cut out the sugar, when insulin finally drops and fat begins to leave the liver, that irritation subsides. Inflammation cools off, oxidative stress decreases, and the liver cells can finally function the way they're supposed to. This is why people notice their digestion improves, their bloating reduces, their energy stabilizes because a calmer liver isn't fighting constant irritation anymore. Think of it like taking the fire out of a burning building. Once the flames die down, repair crews can finally start the rebuilding process. That's exactly what happens inside your liver when you lower carbs and let your body run on fat instead of sugar. Most people have been told for decades to fear fat. They've been told that eating eggs will clog their arteries, that butter is dangerous, that olive oil should only be used sparingly, and that if they want a healthy liver, they should eat a low-fat diet. And yet, what do we see? People who avoided fat religiously still ended up with fatty liver, still developed insulin resistance, still gained weight around the midsection, and still battled with low energy, bloating, and brain fog. Why? Because the problem was never fat in the first place. The real culprit, as we've already established, is sugar and refined carbs. But here's where it gets fascinating. Not only is fat not the enemy, it's actually one of the most powerful allies you have when it comes to healing your liver. When you consume the right kinds of fats, healthy fats, your body doesn't treat them like sugar. They don't spike your insulin. They don't flood your bloodstream with glucose that your liver has to desperately convert into fat. Instead, these fats provide stable fuel, reduce cravings, and allow your cells to run on ketones, a cleaner, more efficient energy source than glucose. Ketones are anti-inflammatory, they improve mitochondrial function, and they help repair damage at the cellular level. That means when you start fueling your body with the right fats, you're not only avoiding the liver, damaging cycle of sugar and carbs, you're actively supporting the healing process. Let's take avocados, for example. Avocados are loaded with monounsaturated fats, potassium, and fiber. They stabilize blood sugar, support insulin sensitivity, and help the liver release stored fat. They're not just a trendy food, they're a biochemical tool to support regeneration. Then you have olive oil, especially extra virgin olive oil, rich in polyphenols and antioxidants. Studies show olive oil can decrease fat accumulation in the liver, protect against oxidative stress, and improve liver enzymes. When you drizzle olive oil over your salad or cook your vegetables with it, you're not harming your liver, you're giving it a protective shield. And then there's coconut oil. For years, it was demonized because it's high in saturated fat. But what people don't understand is that coconut oil contains medium-chain triglycerides, or MCTs, which are metabolized very differently from other fats. They don't require bile salts for digestion, they go straight to the liver, and they're rapidly converted into ketones. That means coconut oil bypasses the normal fat storage pathways and provides instant fuel. This is especially powerful for someone with a fatty liver because instead of adding to the problem, coconut oil helps your body shift into fat burning mode. It essentially trains your liver to run more efficiently. Eggs are another misunderstood food. Many people avoid egg yolks because of cholesterol myths, but the yolk is where the nutrients are. Choline, for example, is a compound found abundantly in egg yolks, and it plays a critical role in transporting fat out of the liver. Without enough choline, fat gets trapped inside the liver, contributing to fatty liver disease. So when you eat eggs, you're not damaging your liver, you're giving it the very nutrient it needs to unload excess fat. Think about how ironic that is. The very food people have been told to fear could be one of the most important foods to reverse fatty liver. And let's not forget fatty fish like salmon, sardines, and mackerel. These are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are anti-inflammatory and help balance the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 fats in the body. That balance is critical because most processed foods are loaded with omega-6 seed oils like corn oil, soybean oil, and canola oil, which drive inflammation and contribute to liver stress. By eating fatty fish, you bring down inflammation, you improve lipid profiles, and you give your liver a break from the constant inflammatory assault caused by industrial seed oils. So let's make this very clear, the type of fat matters. Not all fats are created equal. Industrially processed seed oils, corn oil, soybean oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower oil are harmful. They're unstable, highly inflammatory, and loaded with omega-6s. These oils oxidize easily, creating free radicals that damage cell membranes and contribute to fatty liver progression. They are everywhere: salad dressings, fried foods, processed snacks, and they quietly work against your liver. If there's one dietary change that can drastically reduce liver stress, it's cutting out these harmful oils and replacing them with truly healthy fats. Now let's step back and think about the psychology of fat. Most people are still scared of it because they equate dietary fat with body fat. They think if I eat fat, I'll get fat, but the reality is the opposite. When you eat sugar and carbs, your insulin spikes, and that's what drives fat storage. But when you eat fat, especially healthy fats, you don't trigger that same insulin response. In fact, fats keep you satisfied, reduce cravings, and allow you to go longer without eating. And this is critical for the liver, because every time you take a break from eating, every time insulin has a chance to come down, your liver gets the opportunity to release stored fat. That's why healthy fats and intermittent fasting work so well together. They create long windows of low insulin where fat can finally be burned. Think about it like this: sugar and refined carbs are like gasoline thrown on a fire. They burn quickly, create chaos, and then leave you crashing. Healthy fats are like clean logs on a steady flame. They burn slowly, evenly, and keep you fueled for hours. Your liver thrives on that steady energy. It's not overwhelmed. It's not under constant pressure to convert sugar into fat. It's allowed to work at its natural rhythm. That's why people on keto often report a sense of calm energy, mental clarity, and fewer mood swings. It's not just in their heads, it's their liver and metabolism functioning as they were designed to. Another fascinating aspect of healthy fats is their role in hormone balance. Your liver is deeply connected to hormone regulation. It processes excess estrogen, it regulates thyroid hormones, it even influences cortisol. When your liver is burdened with fat and inflammation, hormones easily get out of balance. But when you introduce healthy fats, you're providing the building blocks for those hormones while simultaneously lowering insulin and reducing liver stress. The result is a more balanced system. For women, that often means more stable menstrual cycles, fewer PMS symptoms, and improved fertility. For men, it often means better testosterone levels, more energy, and improved mood. All of this starts with the liver being able to function correctly, and healthy fats play a huge role in making that possible. And here's something else most people don't realize: your brain is nearly 60% fat. It craves the right kinds of fats to function properly. When you starve your body of fat in an attempt to eat healthy, you're also starving your brain. That's why so many people on low-fat diets struggle with depression, brain fog, and lack of focus. But when you reintroduce healthy fats, avocados, olive oil, coconut oil, eggs, fatty fish, you're not just healing your liver, you're fueling your brain. And since the liver and brain are so interconnected through the vagus nerve and shared metabolic pathways, improving one often improves the other. Now let's tie this back to fatty liver specifically. Imagine your liver is clogged with fat, inflamed, and barely keeping up with its workload. You cut out sugar, lower carbs, and start fueling your body with healthy fats. What happens? Insulin drops, fat starts leaving the liver, inflammation decreases, and nutrients like choline and omega-3 actively help your liver transport and metabolize that fat. It's like clearing out a traffic jam. Suddenly, the roads open up, cars start moving, and everything flows again. That's the transformation keto provides, not just stopping the damage, but actively reversing it. But I want to go even deeper, because this isn't just about food, it's about freedom. Think about the countless people who live with the fear of liver disease, who are told there's no cure, who are prescribed medications that only manage symptoms, not the root cause. Think about how discouraging that is. Now imagine those same people learning that their liver has the power to regenerate, that by simply changing what's on their plate, they could literally reverse the condition that was holding them back. That's empowering, that's life-changing, and that's why understanding the role of healthy fats is so important. It's not just about macronutrients, it's about giving people their lives back. And if you still doubt the power of healthy fats, look at cultures that thrive on them. The Mediterranean diet, rich in olive oil, fatty fish, and nuts, is consistently associated with lower rates of metabolic disease and improved liver health. Traditional diets that include coconut, fish, and eggs have sustained generations of healthy people without fatty liver disease. It's only when modern processed foods and refined carbs enter the picture that we see skyrocketing rates of liver problems. This is not a coincidence. It's a direct reflection of how the human body was designed to thrive on natural, unprocessed fats, not on man-made sugars and industrial oils. So, when you sit down to eat, don't fear the avocado on your plate, don't push aside the yolk of your eggs, don't avoid olive oil because you think it's too rich. Understand that those foods are medicine, they're tools. They're part of the very solution that can take your liver from being clogged and inflamed to being lean, efficient, and fully functional again. And every time you make that choice, every time you pick healthy fat over sugar, you're casting a vote for healing, for regeneration, and for freedom from a condition that millions of people silently suffer from. And as powerful as healthy fats are, there's another secret weapon that most people completely overlook when it comes to reversing fatty liver: cruciferous vegetables. Now, I know when most people hear vegetables, they immediately think of boring salads or tasteless side dishes they've been told to eat out of guilt. But what I want you to understand is that cruciferous vegetables, things like kale, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower, arugula, cabbage, are not just food, they're functional medicine. They contain compounds that directly support your liver's detox pathways. Your liver has two phases of detoxification. In the first phase, it takes toxins and makes them water soluble, and in the second phase, it packages them up so they can leave the body safely. Cruciferous vegetables supply sulfur compounds, indole-3, carbinol, and other powerful phytonutrients that help both of those processes work more efficiently. This is crucial because when your liver is clogged with fat, it's already overwhelmed. It's like an office that has stacks of paperwork piled up on the desk with no filing system. It's backed up, stressed, and unable to process everything that's coming in. Cruciferous vegetables act like extra staff walking into that office, sorting the papers, filing things away, and clearing space so real work can get done. They lighten the burden on the liver, which means fat can leave more easily, inflammation can calm down faster, and the regenerative process can accelerate. But it's not just about detox. Cruciferous vegetables are loaded with antioxidants that directly combat the oxidative stress inside the liver. Remember, when fat accumulates, it doesn't just sit there. It creates reactive oxygen species, free radicals that damage the delicate structures inside liver cells. That's what drives the progression from simple fatty liver to inflammation, fibrosis, and eventually cirrhosis. But the compounds in cruciferous vegetables, glucosinolates, sulforaphane, and others neutralize those free radicals. They literally put out the fire inside the liver so healing can continue uninterrupted. And there's another layer here. Cruciferous vegetables also help balance estrogen. The liver is responsible for processing excess hormones, including estrogen, and when it's overwhelmed, estrogen can build up in the body. This can lead to weight gain, mood issues, and hormonal imbalances. The compounds in cruciferous vegetables help the liver break down estrogen more effectively, which not only relieves the liver's workload but also restores balance to the entire endocrine system. That means better metabolism, more energy, and fewer hormonal symptoms, all because you gave your liver the tools it needed to do its job. Now, some people say, but I don't like vegetables, I don't enjoy the taste of kale or broccoli, and I get that. But this isn't about forcing down bland steamed broccoli like a punishment, it's about finding ways to incorporate these foods that actually taste good. You can sauté kale in olive oil with garlic, roast Brussels sprouts until they're crispy, blend spinach into a smoothie, or make cauliflower rice as a substitute for regular rice. The point is, you don't need to eat them plain. You just need to get them into your diet consistently. Because every serving of cruciferous vegetables is like giving your liver a powerful dose of medicine, natural, safe, and specifically designed to support its healing process. And the benefits aren't limited to the liver. When you eat cruciferous vegetables, your gut microbiome also benefits. The fiber in these vegetables feeds the good bacteria in your gut, and that has a direct connection to your liver through what's called the gut-liver axis. A healthy gut reduces the amount of endotoxins that reach your liver, lowering inflammation and giving your liver yet another layer of protection. So, in a way, every bite of broccoli is working on multiple fronts. It's helping your gut, your hormones, your detox pathways, and your liver cells all at once. Imagine your liver like a filter in your car. If it's clogged, everything downstream suffers. But cruciferous vegetables act like a cleaning solution, unclogging that filter so fuel can flow properly again. You wouldn't run your car for years without changing the filter, right? Yet so many people expect their liver to keep working year after year without giving it the support it needs. These vegetables are that support. They're not optional, they're essential. And here's the part that always surprises people. You don't need massive amounts to see benefits. Even just 1 or 2 servings a day can make a difference. Of course, the more you eat, the greater the effect, but the key is consistency. It's about creating an environment where your liver has steady, reliable access to the compounds it needs to detox, to fight oxidative stress, and to regenerate. This isn't about a quick fix, it's about daily habits that add up to long-term transformation. So, when we talk about the keto solution for fatty liver, it's not just about cutting carbs and eating healthy fats. It's also about flooding your body with the very foods that accelerate the healing process. Cruciferous vegetables do exactly that. They don't just remove obstacles, they actively push your liver in the direction of repair, detoxification, and balance. And the best part is, they work synergistically with the rest of the keto lifestyle. Pairing healthy fats with cruciferous vegetables creates a powerful 1-2 punch. Fats lower insulin and provide clean fuel, while vegetables detoxify and support regeneration. Together, they create the ideal internal environment for your liver to finally heal. And once the fat begins leaving the liver, something remarkable happens. You stop fighting your body to lose weight. See, when your liver is clogged, your metabolism slows down, insulin resistance gets worse, and your body refuses to burn stored fat. That's why so many people try calorie-cutting diets, they try exercising harder, and yet the scale barely moves. It's not because they're weak or lazy, it's because their liver is in survival mode, holding onto fat as if it's the only fuel it can use. But when you clear out liver fat through keto, you flip the switch. Insulin resistance starts to improve, your cells become more sensitive to insulin again, and now instead of storing fat, your body begins to burn it. Many people underestimate the silent power of environment. When unaffected, your liver is working properly, your hunger signals stabilize. You're not constantly craving sugar or needing to snack every 2 hours just to keep your energy up. Instead, you can go longer between meals, you naturally eat less, and you don't feel deprived. This is why people on keto often say they forget to eat, because their body is finally running efficiently on fat fuel. It's not willpower that keeps them going, it's the biology of a healed liver, and think about the ripple effect this has. As weight comes off more naturally, blood pressure improves, cholesterol ratios balance, blood sugar stabilizes, and energy levels skyrocket. Your entire body starts functioning in sync again. You don't wake up dreading the day with brain fog and fatigue. You wake up with steady energy because your liver is no longer drowning in fat and inflammation. That's not just weight loss, that's freedom. This is why focusing on the liver is so critical. When you fix the liver, weight loss is no longer a constant uphill battle. It becomes the natural byproduct of a body that's finally aligned with how it was designed to operate. And the best part is, once your liver is burning fat efficiently, it doesn't just shrink your waistline, it reduces visceral fat around your organs, the kind of fat most linked to disease. That's the dangerous fat, the fat that drives heart disease, diabetes, and metabolic syndrome. When your liver heals, that fat melts away, and suddenly you're not just looking better, you're extending your life. And this is where the real shift happens, understanding that keto is not just some temporary plan you follow for a few weeks to drop a little weight. It's not a quick fix, it's not a fad, it's not about chasing numbers on a scale. Keto is a metabolic reset, a way of teaching your body to function the way it was always designed to. When you lower carbs, when you allow insulin to finally come down, when you fuel your body with nutrient-dense foods and healthy fats, you're not just reversing fatty liver, you're reprogramming your entire metabolism. Think of it like rebooting a computer that's been overloaded with too many programs running at once. When your liver is filled with fat, your body is running slow, it's glitching, it's crashing. But keto is like hitting that reset button. Suddenly, everything runs smoother, your cells communicate better, your hormones balance out, your brain feels clearer, and your energy becomes stable. It's not just about healing the liver, it's about creating a ripple effect that touches every single system in your body. And here's the most empowering part. Once your body learns how to burn fat for fuel, it doesn't forget. You're no longer trapped in the cycle of sugar highs and crashes, cravings and constant hunger. You've taught your metabolism a new way to operate, one that gives you freedom instead of dependence. This is why people who truly embrace keto don't see it as a diet anymore. They see it as a lifestyle, a sustainable way of living that gives them control over their health, their energy, and their future. When you look at fatty liver through this lens, it's no longer a curse or a sentence you have to live with. It's an opportunity. It's your body sending you a signal that something needs to change, and keto is the answer that doesn't just silence the symptoms but addresses the root cause. Every time you choose real food over processed carbs, every time you allow your body to burn fat instead of sugar, you're rewriting the story of your health. You're proving that your body isn't broken, just needs the right environment to thrive. They want you to rise to their bait because in that moment, it's about transformation. It's about giving your liver, your metabolism, and your entire body the chance to reset, repair, and regenerate. And when that happens, you don't just reverse fatty liver, you reclaim your health, your energy, and your life. So when you really step back and look at the full picture, it all comes together. Fatty liver isn't a life sentence, it's a wake-up call. It's your body whispering that the way you've been fueling it isn't working, that it's time for a change. And the change isn't about starving yourself, it's not about punishing workouts, and it's not about chasing low-fat trends that have already failed millions of people. It's about finally aligning with how your body was designed to function: low insulin, burning fat for fuel, nourishing your liver with healthy fats and cruciferous vegetables, and letting your metabolism reset itself. The liver is extraordinary. It can heal, it can regenerate, it can bounce back even after years of abuse, but only if you give it the right conditions. Keto provides those conditions. It takes away the very thing that caused the problem, sugar and carbs, and replaces it with the very things that repair: nutrient-dense foods, healthy fats, and powerful vegetables. And when you do that, your liver transforms from a clogged, inflamed organ into a lean, efficient powerhouse that supports every part of your health. That's the keto solution for fatty liver. It's not a quick fix, it's not a bandage, it's a complete reversal of the problem at its core. And once you make that decision, once you create that environment, you're not just healing your liver, you're unlocking energy, clarity, and longevity that you may not have felt in years. This is about taking back control, giving your body what it truly needs, and experiencing the freedom that comes when your liver is finally allowed to do what it was designed to do, keep you alive. Keep you healthy and keep you thriving.